You're listening to Femfluence Radio, created for women desiring more influence and affluence and are looking for other women who want the same. I'm your host, Jennifer Kemp, but you can call me Jen. I'm a serial entrepreneur and founder who's built 4 multi-million-dollar companies. I'm also a mom to 3 amazing humans and a wifey to the self-proclaimed slay-at-home dad. Whoa, that makes me tired just saying out loud. On this show, we'll have the real BS-free conversations that every woman wants to have, but no one's talking about with the honesty we deserve. We'll chat on the intersection of too muchness and not enoughness, what aligned success looks and feels like, and what it takes to dismantle old systems, beliefs, and thinking that get in the way of what we really want. If you're an ambitious woman looking for a collective that will support you as you grow into the next level leader you and everyone else knows, likes, and trusts, then stick around because you're already home and amongst friends. Now, let's go build longer tables together. Hey there. So today I'm going to talk about how to activate your brand as a femfluencer and how to connect the dots between the how with your why and what, which we've really been talking about over the past few episodes. And I hope you've enjoyed this series on digging deeper on how to build both your personal and your professional brand in a more impactful and potent way, because we need more women to be visible and we need more women to take ownership of how they present themselves in the world, because we want you to get seen, heard, and paid more. And if you're listening in on this show, I already know that you're a world changer and global leader. You want to help so many people with your message and live a life designed by your values. You want your femfluence to spread like wildfire. Am I right? I hope you're nodding your head right now. Well, there are a number of ways that you can connect with your audience and deliver your message. But what is really important is that you know that you are a messenger, and a messenger needs the right machines to ride their message on. Now, this is an era, and we live in an era where it's never been easier to communicate your why, what, and how to other people. Also, interestingly enough, life moves much faster now because of technology and information being very accessible. And the rate at which we deal with change and uncertainty can feel insane. But the best way to be equipped for these changes is to be persistent and consistent in the way we show up in the world. Because guess what? Persistency pays, and consistency builds credibility. And I want people to know, like, and trust you. And in order to do that, we have to get our message on the right machines to deliver it to the people that we want to see us and hear us. So taking action is the best way to test what works best for you. And when you take action, you activate the dream that you have to help others. So there are 2 main categories or 2 main machines to activate your message and grow your platform. So the first big machine is online activation. So there are different types of online activations that you can do. So one pretty obvious one is having a social media presence. And what's important is that social media presence is in the place where your audience is and where you enjoy creating a conversation. So one of the biggest mistakes that I see women do is that they will think, oh, I gotta be on all the things. I gotta be on Instagram. I gotta be on Facebook. I gotta be on LinkedIn. I gotta be on Snapchat, or whatever else you think you need to be on. It's important that you're in a place where the people that you really want to attract are there, and that you enjoy having and engaging in a dialogue with them. Otherwise, it's a waste of time to be across all the things. We do not have all that time on our hands, which we talked about in earlier episodes. And so we need to be really smart and focused where we put our time there. because social media can eat your time. It can eat all your life. Am I right? Okay. So another type of online activation are online seminars, classes, webinars, and things like challenges and contests where you engage and interact with people and speak on what you know. So that's great. And it allows you, if you have expertise in an area, to actually create those things and deliver them to people that you can help with that expertise or intellectual property that you have. Another way for you to use online activation is creating gifts or freebies that people can download and experience that provide value and really show off and give them a taster of your experience and expertise. So those are 3 different ways that you can activate your message and create ways that people can jump onto the machine that you have that you want people to ride on. So the second way to activate your how is called offline activation. And there are a number of ways that you can do that. First, you could create demonstrations of your products in person. Have you ever gone to, a trade show or, your local craft fair, and you see people like showing off how to use the knives or showing off, giving you little samplers of their special hummus dip that they have? Well, that's no different than what you have going on. Showing up live and demonstrating how your product or service works is a great way for people to understand what you're up to. Another way to get offline activation is having influencers showcase your products and services to an aligned audience. Now, that can also happen online. Let's say, you have an Instagram influencer that shows your stuff off, but those relationships typically, even if they start online through a direct message or something, typically you'll get your products or services into the hands of that influencer, and that's what makes it an offline activation. Okay. Another way that you could do some offline activation is to create supporting products to support digital things that you have going on. For example, like creating workbooks or journals or planners or other types of really cool swag that create more of a tactile experience with what you're up to. A lot of people who have online offerings miss this opportunity to create things that make things more sticky. Because here's the thing, we don't like getting junk mail or propaganda in the mail, but we sure like gifts. And I always notice when a brand sends me something that is useful to me and makes me want to work with them more. And finally, this one is the most potent and the most important. If you really want to engage your audience, meeting them in person through a seminar, a workshop, a conference, something like that, where you put together like-minded people with each other and teach your methods, that right there, for those of you who have expertise, is the best way to actually not just get seen and heard, but definitely get paid. In fact, these types of live activations, offline activations, I can guarantee will make you more money in the short term and have a long-term effect to giving credibility to your platform than any digital means possible. Here's why. Online, although it's given us a lot of reach, an opportunity to reach a global audience, it has also made people feel less connected and more lonely. And when you're a leader that gathers other like-minded people together, people really appreciate that you've taken that step. There is so much money in your backyard. I mean that. So many people are wanting to make a global impact. And that's great. And you can do that. But if you start in your backyard, you'll not just make more money. You'll get seen by local influencers, by the local media, and that will build credibility at a national and global level. Okay, there's so much gold sitting at your feet. So growing a local brand that turns into a global brand is a great way to make a profit and get your purpose out there quickly. So I call these offline activations and online activations basically analog and digital impact. When you combine the two, you have now a potent recipe to build your platform and to build your affluence influence. In fact, many of the women that I've worked with using this strategy that I just spoke of have made no less, and this is not an exaggeration, of $350,000 in 2 to 3 days instead of hoping and wishing for that money over the course of a year or two, just by applying both means to their brand. These are real numbers, and I know that they're available to you if you apply them too. So here's my invitation to you. I teach an advanced workshop on this called the Master Brand Accelerator, where women like us gather to learn and apply these 2 activation methods in the most powerful way. It's also an invitation into my home city in the San Francisco Bay Area, where, this is kind of the mecca of innovation and investment in startups. And I would love to meet you in person and help you activate your brand and your femfluence. So I have an exclusive link to join up, and the first 25 women listening to this podcast and signing up will get a free upgrade to a special VIP session with me at the event. Isn't that exciting? So I definitely want to see you there. So sign up at masterbrandaccelerator.com/FF, masterbrandaccelerator.com/FF to get your VIP spot secured. And if you're listening in on this podcast later and you're wondering, oh gosh, did I miss it? No problem. We have one every year and you can sign up for our wait list. So now let's jump into worksheet time. So what are some of the ways that you're using online activations to create digital impact? I want you to list some of those ways. And if you're not doing anything yet, that's great. That means that you're starting from the right place. Next, what are some of the ways you're using offline activations to create analog impact? And finally, what are the gaps in these areas you need to learn and or apply? And what's one next step you'll do to do so? Maybe it's even signing up to work with me in person at our live event. Now, over the past few episodes, I've been sharing ways you can grow your affluence and influence by building what I call a master brand. But what about the other aspects of your life? The ones that support and nourish us, but also sometimes feel hard to balance, like relationships, health, and all of the inner work we have to do to show up as leaders. Well, based on what you've been talking to me about in both your reviews and your ratings, as well as sending me direct messages on social media, relationships are on the top of the list because, let's face it, they can be really tough when you're an ambitious woman on a mission. I know they can be tough for me. And sometimes they've hurt really, really bad. So I'm going to share some stories of when relationships didn't feel good at all and what I did to get better at being in them in our next episode. You don't want to miss it, my friend. See you there. Thanks for listening to Femfluence Radio. If you resonated with this episode, please leave us a review and let other women know about it. Remember, we're building longer tables here. Follow us on Instagram at femfluence_official to stay in the conversation, and also visit femfluence.com to sign up and receive things I only give to our listeners and friends. I look forward to our next chat.